Hey there, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Glad to be back on the channel with you all. Glad to have you here. If you're just landing, I hope you stick around and hang out with me for a bit and see what I see, what comes through the cards today with Spirit. I thank so many of you for hanging out with me always and lending your comments and your thoughts and your prayers collectively for all of us to get through this time together. Today, I got some concerns and it is around, and I'm just going to put it right on out there. Is there a U.S. military takeover in the works by AIPAC and the Israeli government? Let me say that again. Is there an actual takeover underway between of the U.S. military by AIPAC and the Israeli government? Let me tell, and you all, if you know me, and many of you know I'm a former newspaper journalist. So even though I'm a spiritualist, I try to stay grounded in, like, let's connect some dots. I'm not big on jumping on conspiracy bandwagons, but let me go through some things in my notes today with you all before I get to the cards. I'll make it quick, but I want you, help me to help you to help me to connect these dots, right? Because something ain't right, y'all. All right. We hear now the Iran war has resumed. Not that it ever stopped. Certainly not on Netanyahu's end, right? But okay. So officially, from the U.S. end, Trump has said U.S. war, the Iran war is back on. Full stop. All right. When Trump went to NATO, he said that he was planning to propose a deal to sell F-35s to Turkey. Next thing we know, Dana Bash pops up on CNN with this extensive interview with Bibi Netanyahu, who said, I don't think I don't want the U.S. to sell any F-35s to Turkey because they are not an ally and it's all about giving more ammunition to the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay, lo and behold, this is right. The interview was aired yesterday, right? Today, boom, war is back on. Now, Pete Hegseth was supposed to meet today with Netanyahu and the Israeli defense minister about the sale of these F-35s to Turkey. Meeting got canceled all of a sudden, all right? Okay. Meanwhile, we have a $38 billion memorandum of understanding that the U.S. has entered into with Israel, agreeing to give Israel $3.8 billion a year over 10 years. This is where AIPAC comes into it. Who backed that proposition and helped get that memorandum of understanding through the ropes? AIPAC. All right? So AIPAC has backed this deal that the U.S. has agreed to, this memorandum of understanding to give Israel a total of $38 billion for military assistance. However, this is also about what they are calling a fusion of the militaries between Israel and the United States. This is called defense industry integration, they're calling this. So you all, this is not just about the sale of $38 billion, $3.8 billion over each year annually to Israel for equipment to supply Israel's military, but this is about data sharing. This is about intelligence sharing. This is about an actual fusion and integration of our military with Israel. All right, gets a little deeper. Next week on the 15th, July 15th, we have the confirmation hearing set for Trump's nominee for national security or national intelligence, right? New director of national intelligence, Jay Clayton. Jay Clayton is an attorney out of the Southern District of New York. But what else was Jay Clayton? Jay Clayton was the former head chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission under the previous Trump administration. So he served as that chair from 2017 to 2020. Securities and Exchange Commission, the money, all right? The money, right? Ties to AIPAC, all right. Who was behind Jay Clayton's appointment as the SEC chair in that prior administration and his current nomination to take over national intelligence, data sharing, fusion of the militaries? None other than Jared Kushner. All right. And we know his ties to Netanyahu, etc. Him and his father, Charles Kushner. So Couple of things. I'm ready to go to cards. What's happening here? Is this just me going off on a tangent, connecting some dots, or are these dots to be connected? As the old folks would say, if it walks like a duck and it talks and it quacks like a duck and it looks like a duck, chances are it's a duck, right? So Spirit, please show us. I'm going to go to the Kipper deck. Get down into it. Spirit, is this something underway for Israel and AIPAC, or the Israeli government under Netanyahu and AIPAC, to literally take over U.S. military operations? Not in total, clearly, but certainly as it concerns the Middle East. Is this a plan underway that Trump is actually going with? Hegseth is going to do whatever. There's trusted, because they think this administration thinks that Netanyahu can be trusted. And he's promising that. A health concern. This is front diminishing. Well, and not that Bibi's in the best of health either, but this is front diminishing. And some people ask who I'm talking about when I say Bibi. Netanyahu. He's often nicknamed Bibi. This is a health concern. This is Trump's diminishing health, not making rational, logical decisions, and not being given adequate. We already heard he doesn't even listen to the daily intelligence reports. Blocked. Ooh, all right, that's promising. I wonder if when this actually starts to unfold, you know what? That's why the midterms are super important, you all, because when if the midterms shift over with the House, and hopefully, please, God, the Senate, then they can block this momentum that's happening with AIPAC and AIPAC backed funding and also this program to fuse the militaries. So it may get blocked, but that's down the road. Divine Feminine. Ooh. I feel like that's progressives in Congress who are going to help raise measures to block this. Is this the plan, though, Spirit? That's please, and Spirit's like jumping 3 steps ahead. Is the plan, is what we're seeing? This is an actual attempt to take over the U.S. military. Actual money. This is not just about the $38 billion that they've promised in this memorandum of understanding to Israel, but this is also, with AIPAC involved in it, this is also the money controlling Congress, controlling the government, which we know is all the rage right now around the candidates and this new crop of candidates, and why they are fighting so hard to prevent progressives from winning office, because if they do that, AIPAC knows they got a problem on their hands. So this is actual money and change. Is this change, Spirit? They're leading me to tarot. Is this change to try and gain control over the Pentagon and data, national intelligence? Is that the change? Is that the change they're trying to create? Netanyahu and AIPAC. Is that the change they're trying to create? To actually get in and take over the money for military spending and the military. The lovers. This is the pact that they want to enter into. And that Trump is letting them because of health concerns. He's not all there. And nobody's telling him otherwise. At least not for now. Now, we saw that blocked in Divine Feminine. So this is down the road. So that leads me to, let me scoot this over. Spirit. I'm going to stay with tarot for now. Spirit is, will this get stopped once after the midterms in 2027, once the Dems take over? 8 of Pentacles and death. I think so. Whew. Glad to see it. Stopping the money, Eight of Pentacles, and the Moon, because everything's going to come to light around the fact that, hey, this is a real thing. And now let's back up for a second. Is Jay Clayton going to get confirmed? Will Jay Clayton get confirmed as Director of National Intelligence? Because again, he's in with Two of Swords. There's going to be a little bit of a discussion around that. But the Chariot. They're going to, and the Six of Pentacles. There's going to be some, it's not going to be an easy confirmation by any means. There's going to be a lot of negotiations, a lot of discussion back and forth around his objectives, Jay Clayton's objectives. His Democrats especially are going to go at him around, are you just going to be another Trump operative, do whatever Trump tells you to do? So there's going to be some struggle in that confirmation, but the Chariot is showing ultimately they're going to go ahead with him once again. So he's going to get confirmed. He's tied to Kushner. Kushner's all about Netanyahu, but also what we're seeing on the back end of that spirit, please confirm. This is another reason. And I think that's why the Moon is coming, you all, because the more this can get brought to the public's eye that this is happening, we haven't even heard a whole lot, certainly not from mainstream media, which has gone off a cliff, with the exception of some ABCs out there, MS Now is out there, but there's been so many things to cover that this particular memorandum of understanding and this fusion of military cooperation between the U.S. and Israel, data intelligence and data sharing, resources. Spirit, is that going to get stopped? Bottom line, Five of Pentacles, they're going to pull back on it. The economy, Nine of Swords, exactly. And the Four of Cups. And the Six of Cups. Dissatisfaction with the relationship between Israel and the United States, especially continuing to be discussed by progressives who are going to win some offices, 100%, right? We already see they cannot stop this train. Netanyahu during this, Dana Bash being the cohort of Jake Tapper, essentially, Netanyahu tried to go in on Mamdani, right? And like that ain't gonna go over well at all with the American public. Like the idea that supporting the Jewish people and supporting Netanyahu and his military are two different things, and that's what I think we're seeing in that Six of Cups. There's a review, there's a disappointment and a dissatisfaction in that Four of Cups with how things used to be or how we are being sold. As Netanyahu got on there with Dana Bash, we are always going to be your strongest ally. You need us in the Middle East, U.S. You need us in the Middle East to be your bestie, and that just ain't happening. That ain't happening. So ultimately, this memorandum of understanding, and this money and this fusion, Jay Clayton, who looks like looks like he's going to get confirmed as Director of National Intelligence. Jay Clayton's going to play the game and he's going to go along with it. But that is, again, you all, why the stakes are so incredibly high for the Democrats to take over the House and potentially, please, the Senate. Because then all of this gets revamped and reviewed. This memorandum of understanding, and I don't think so. We need to refigure some things, right? So that's not going to happen. And the War Powers Act that this present Congress did not do jack SHYTE about That's going to get reviewed as well. Okay. All right. And the second thing that I wanted to look at today, y'all tell me though, if these dots are sounding like they're connected to you, I know that you will, and I appreciate it. All right. The second thing I want to look at today is Todd Blanch, his confirmation hearing. We talked about Jay Clayton, 7:15. 7:15 going to be a hot day. Also on 7:15, Todd Blanch is going to sit for confirmation hearings. All right. Now, 1,200 former DOJ folk and Democratic folk in Congress came out in huge opposition to Todd Blanch's confirmation as Attorney General because of all the things that we know that he's done. I mean, he took where Pam Bondi left off and just, went to town. Okay. Because he wants that appointment, and he knew he had to do that in order to get Trump's continued backing to promote him as Attorney General. So he's gone in gangbusters. Blanch gone into the DOJ gangbusters, and you've had unprecedented, unheard of resistance and folks coming out and speaking out against this. Now, and interestingly, I was surprised. His behavior, Blanch's behavior, they thought that he was actually going to be, when he came in as Deputy Attorney General under Pam Bondi, he was approved by a 52-46 vote, you all. Now, that's not, anywhere near unanimous approval, but that was solid approval, 52-46 vote in the Senate, that when he was appointed as Deputy. Ain't happening now. But will he get it? Because think about it. Who else? Who else is going to go in as Attorney General at this point under this administration and pledge absolute fealty to Trump? Who else? Who else? Right? And they know that. The GOP cohorts, they know that. All right. Spirit. Will Todd Blanch get confirmed as Attorney General? Will Todd Blanch get confirmed as Attorney General? Two of Wands. Devotion. Devotion to their fearless leader. Will Todd Blanch get confirmed? And the world, yeah. I think so. I think it's a completion of the vote. Is that how, am I reading that right? The completion of the vote to confirm him. Five of Swords. And the Sun. I think it may drag out a little bit with this Five of Swords. That feels like a lot of arguments or, a lot of resistance to his confirmation, but ultimately the Sun. So yes, I do think ultimately somehow Todd Blanch is going to get over that hump, because there's no other, who else will they put forward that would do what this administration is demanding. That said, once again, once the Dems take over, is Todd Blanch gonna get impeached pursuant to Article 2, Section 4 of the Constitution? Is Todd Blanch going to get impeached? He's going to, he's going to get in there after some arguments, delays, tactics, blah, blah, blah. But I think according to what we're seeing by Spirit, he's going to get in there. They're leading me back to the Kipper. Is Todd Blanch, Spirit, is Todd Blanch going to get impeached as attorney? Is he going to get impeached? Once the Dems take over, will he get impeached? Will Todd Blanch get impeached? Enamor, imprisonment. Because of his love for you know who. Now I don't see that as literal. Maybe. Like literally will he wind up getting, convicted and sent to prison for his crimes. I don't know about that, but his love affair with power is also what Spirit is telling me. It's not even just about his love affair with Frump. It's, oh, sorry if you hear my stomach growling on camera. It's being loud. Need to get some breakfast. It's not just about his love affair and his willingness to just go absolutely there because of power and fealty to Frump. Manifestation. Spirit is like, yeah, he's going to manifest his own destiny, because once he's in there and he's actually feeling he's got all of it going on now, as secure as Attorney General, it's going to be no stopping him. Destruction, complete and utter destruction, and chaos, continued chaos within the DOJ. So ultimately, and recognizing that he has been false, especially in regards to Blanch has been false and made false statements, perhaps criminally, for entertainment purposes only, allegedly, supposedly, all those things, over the Epstein files and over other things that he has been and is being put in charge of at the Department of Justice. Also, they're reminding me, trusted and faith. There is no trust or faith in him. Like, he can't be trusted, and there is no faith in him. That's how it's going to go for Congress. So I do think he's going to face impeachment. I'm also getting false. This card actually has documents and statements on it. That reminds me of this pouring into Georgia, that he sent all of these agents into Georgia, like what, 200-300 of them, to again try and dig up whatever they're supposed to dig up on the 2020 elections in Georgia. This is prior to, of course, the midterms. So whatever they come up with, if they suddenly come up with something out of Georgia, you all keep your eyes on that. I think that's what Spirit is talking about here. If they come up with some false documentation about so-called election fraud in Georgia, either prior to or immediately following the midterms, that is going to come back and blow up tremendously on Todd Blanch. Ten of Cups, the people having that will to do it. Queen of Pentacles. This may be Keisha Lance Bottoms. This feels like somebody out of Georgia representing the people who are going to bring the falsehood of whatever these agents concoct, perhaps, out of Georgia. Two of Cups and the Chariot. Yes, there is, and it's not going to take long. It's going to be relatively quick, and it's going to be a movement to absolutely bring this news to light, that whatever Blanche's folk that he sent over there, and they certainly were cherry picked, I'm hearing from Spirit, like he was deliberate about which agents got that assignment, right? So they know the assignment. They're going to come back empty-handed and say, no, we're so sorry, we just didn't find anything. No, I think there's going to be some documents that they concoct, that are concocted, let me put it that way, and that is going to add to the repercussions. Let me I'll hold that up again. Of Todd Blanch. Okay, so that's what I got for today, you all. Wow. But it also shows why the stakes are so incredibly high for voters to get out and turn this thing around, and to do so in such large numbers, that to try and argue or refute or, deny these elections, it simply will not hold. It simply will not hold. So keep your chins up out there. Let karma do her thing. She's busy. Keep your shoulders back. Keep breathing. right? Remembering that the sky is above us, the earth is beneath us, and I'll see you back here on Friday. Tomorrow's grandbaby day. All right, take good care of yourselves out there. I appreciate you. Bye.